Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's event, The Power of RDI Networks, and new European Bauhaus funding for companies. My name is Teemu Lehtinen, I'm the CEO of KiraHub, and I'm happy to moderate this event this morning. And also welcome everyone online and also on site here at Urban Tree Space. So this event is part of Metropolia's project called Networking and International Partnerships for Companies. And today we will hear a lot about opportunities through new European Bauhaus program. So what is it all about? How can companies participate? And some examples also of ongoing projects. Here's the program of this morning. So first, we will look at new European Bauhaus in short. We mostly maybe heard about these three words: beautiful, sustainable, and inclusive, representing the program. But I probably would say that it's even more. So we will hear more about that. Then we will have some practical examples, so industry perspective on the new European Bauhaus and the role of Ilmiöverkosto from Building Information Foundation. And then how can companies participate, overview of current goals from Metropolia. And then a couple of examples of ongoing projects on in-nature projects, transdisciplinary collaboration in the NEB ecosystem, then the research program on design for regenerative cities, and then we will also provide our perspective on KiraHub's ecosystem and connections to NEB activities. So we have a packed morning coming today, and without further ado, I would like to invite the first speaker to the stage, Päivi Keränen, NEB Partnership Coordinator from Metropolia. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here, and welcome everyone also on behalf of Metropolia, University of Applied Sciences. And I'm from a Smart and Creative City Innovation Hub and has been working with NEB for over 3 years already. So this is a topic that is very dear to my heart. And in my presentation, I will give you a brief backdrop about the NEB initiative and also an overview what's happening currently. So you hopefully get a good overall picture about the initiative. So what is New European Bauhaus? It's an European policy and funding initiative that aims to make the green transition in the built environment and beyond enjoyable, attractive, and convenient for all. And as was mentioned earlier, these three values, sustainability, inclusion, and aesthetics, beauty, they are the three key components of the initiative. And you could argue that we have talked a lot about sustainability. That's something that we are already quite used to. Also inclusion, but what makes NEB special is aiming to concentrate on all of these three at once, and inclusion of the aesthetic side, experience beyond functionality also is what makes New European Bauhaus so special. And it's really also focusing on the human scale, the neighborhood level, and lived experience of the European citizens. So we already have quite a lot of technological solutions for sustainability, for example, but what is needed is bringing that to the everyday level and engaging stakeholders and European citizens to that. And New European Bauhaus is quite a special initiative in a way that it started with a co-design process in 2020, and the aim has been to make it bottom up as opposed to top down. So what is it in practice? As I mentioned, bottom-up initiatives and also funding for projects. There is a growing portfolio of New European Bauhaus projects from different funding instruments of EU. And also very importantly, there is the New European Bauhaus community across Europe that engages different actors, organizations who are sharing these topics and objectives and values. And also on the practical side, there are quite many tools and guidelines to support project implementation and actual project implementation related to the built environment. And also New European Bauhaus has been embedded in different EU programs and policies by European Commissions. And in the next slides, I will share, these are actually from European Commission from last week, what they presented. So I'm aiming to give you latest what's happening with New European Bauhaus. So these four are current political priorities within the New European Bauhaus. Sustainable prosperity is there, scaling up innovations, participation and democracy, and social inclusion and affordability. So these are the main focus areas and priorities at the moment. And in terms of affordability, there is NEB is very much related to this affordable housing package, which is coming up from European or EU. And this is related to the European housing crisis, the need for affordable housing within EU. And it's not only about the built environment or not only about the housing as such. It sees home as a place where you can have your family and near ones and have a good place to live rather than just having a building and place where you reside. And to this context, there is a new European Commission communication about the New European Bauhaus, and also soon there will be a council recommendation for the European member states. It's not a binding document, but it's a recommendation how member states can further the New European Bauhaus objectives and join into this joint initiative. And the recommendation also aims to strengthen the multi-level governance of the initiative. And the communication on its turn is more about shaping the vision and priorities, making those clear, and also it guides the mobilization of EU funding and markets, which is of course very important and interesting topic for us and also today. So with these documents, the aim is move forward further to a systemic change. And so what are then the three objectives of the communication? These are topics that have been widely or quite strongly already within the NEB initiative previously. There is the circularity, sustainability and innovation in the built environment. And this includes supporting circular economy, bioeconomy, research, scaling up innovative solutions, and reinforcing community resilience to natural disasters. So that's the first priority. And then the second priority focuses on participatory processes, strengthening democratic, inclusive, and resilient neighborhoods. And third priority is harnessing the power of arts and culture and education. And this is, at least to me, one of the key strengths in the initiative. And if we look a little bit closer to these objectives, with the first one related to built environment, there is definitely a industry dimension to this, fostering innovative and sustainable solutions, and also focusing on the construction ecosystem, and it brings a lot of possibilities there. Low carbon, circular and bio-based solutions. But at the same time, with this specific objective, there is also a neighborhood dimension to this. So the focus is really on making actionable change happen in the neighborhoods, and boosting the preparedness to climate-related risks and natural disasters, but also the different kind of things that require resilience. And there also technology can provide such good inputs. And even beyond, also in the neighborhood dimension of this objective is the life cycle, thinking about whole life cycle of buildings and making better use of already existing buildings through renovation and refurbishment. And then on the recommendation side, and this was for the member states, these are five key highlights highlighted there. So clean, circular, natural and resilient energy, water efficient buildings, bioeconomy, the efficient use of the built environment, crisis preparedness and resilience, and then digital solutions. Then with the second specific objective, the participatory process, it's really about enhancing the citizens' co-ownership of the urban space, also rural regeneration processes, and using digital platforms such as virtual and immersive digital environments also to boost this. And it very much relates to the local democracy, of course. And with the third objective, with the culture and arts, it relates to imagining alternative future, co-creating out-of-the-box ideas and looking forward to forward-looking solutions to the regeneration of the neighborhoods. And this includes promoting high-quality architecture and good practices, and supporting the collaboration between artists and other key actors. And this slide I will just show briefly now. This is the funding of the NEB facility at the moment. There is the NEB facility funded through NEB Horizon Europe on the RDI component, so to say, of the NEB, and then there is also a rollout component which includes different types of funding instruments, also very useful for the NEB. But I also wanted to show this slide because there is, of course, plans for beyond the current funding framework. So from the year 28 onwards, and with this the discussions and negotiations are of course ongoing, so we don't know anything sure, but the idea is that the NEB would continue, of course. And yes, I already mentioned this, so there is a NEB community, which is really a network of different actors, and having been part of that NEB community for several years, it's really a good place to find collaborators from different parts of Europe. And yes, and I will end with this final slide with how Metropolia has been active in the NEB initiative. So we joined as a partner in the NEB in 2021 and have been actively involved in the community after that. And also we have been initiated one of the NEB Lab projects focusing on the higher education's role in the initiative called NEB Stewardship Lab. And 2 years or 1.5 years ago, we also were happy to be nominated as a finalist in the NEB Prizes, which is also a good way to get attention to the very good projects that you might have done. It's coming again this spring, the NEB Prizes. But yes, and then also as one big thing, we have established one of the Metropolia's RDI programs very closely related to the NEB, and Jenny Radun will tell about that later in the program. So Design for Regenerative Cities. But this was from my side. Thank you so much. And
thank you. Let's give applause to Päivi. And we have some time for questions. So also online participants, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them online on the platform you're watching this from. And then on site here, just raise your hand and I will bring the mic for you. So any questions? There's one question, comment in LinkedIn. So for all the engineers in the room, maybe the education, edutech, arts and culture, architecture and aesthetics, as well as promoting local democracy and inclusive planning processing are more outside the comfort zone than engineering objectives. And continues a bit, but yeah. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's also the beauty of the NEB initiative, that we can be beyond our personal comfort zone, but we don't have to do it alone. So it's really about these multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary collaborations. From our program, from Metropolia, at least I can say that we will be happy to collaborate and bring you ease with those maybe perplexing
Indeed.
aspects of the initiative.
And often when you're developing something new or doing innovations, you maybe need to step a bit outside of your comfort zone. Good. Any questions here on site?
Just a question first. It sounds really a great program, but could you, and maybe we'll relate to that later, but what is the way for companies to collaborate with you? How is maybe the process, or the way you envision it?
Yeah, well, we will hear in the next presentations different ways in which companies can collaborate in the context of the NEB, but with Metropolia and with our RDI program, just contact us and we can discuss together what kind of opportunities there would be for collaboration. Would it be like case studies or different? Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? No, I think we're just on time, so we can go forward with the program. Thank you, Päivi.
Thank you.
All right, so next I'd like to invite Marianne Kotilainen, project researcher from Building Information Foundation to the stage to talk about industry perspective on the NEB and the role of ilmiöverkosto. Yeah. And then here.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Marianna Kotilainen, and I represent Rakennustietosäätiö, or Building Information Foundation in English. At RDS, we work at the intersection of practice, research, and long-term development in support of a high-quality built environment. We are also a partner of the European Bauhaus, and today I think it was funny that we're talking about comfort zones. That maybe my perspective will be how to get the Finnish real estate and construction sector maybe a bit out of their comfort zone and better their NEB thinking. So I will today share an industry perspective on NEB and discuss the role of our project Ilmiöverkosto in strengthening holistic and societal framing in the Finnish built environment sector. So first, a bit context. As we all know, we are currently at the center of multiple overlapping crises and transitions. Climate change, biodiversity loss, geopolitical uncertainty, as well as growing pressures related to population well-being. In fact, many actors, including the World Economic Forum, describe our time as the time or an era of polycrisis. The built environment plays a critical role in shaping whether these crises are addressed effectively or whether they are intensified. It is actually precisely from this starting point that it becomes clear that the many challenges of our time cannot be addressed through isolated solutions or narrow perspectives. What is needed is a more holistic way of thinking. And in this context, the new European Bauhaus has emerged. As Päivi already said, NEB is based on the idea that sustainable transformation must be pursued in a way that is simultaneously functional, sustainable, and people-centered, in the spirit of the Bauhaus. For those who may not be familiar with the original Bauhaus, it was a movement in the early 20th century which emphasized interdisciplinarity and sought to bring together different fields of art, design, and science. The aim was to create solutions that combine functionality with aesthetic quality. And the new European Bauhaus take this same way of thinking and applies it to the challenges we are facing today. From the perspective of the real estate and construction sector in Finland, the new European Bauhaus is above all a way of structuring the overall context in which the sector already operates. The built environment is not just a collection of technical solutions or individual projects. It is a complex whole where, for example, climate objectives, resource use, the quality of living environments and people's well-being are closely interconnected. And these dimensions cannot be addressed separately without weakening the overall outcome. What the new European Bauhaus does is make these connections visible. It brings together themes that the sector is already working on, but too often in silos. This kind of join-up thinking is exactly what is demanded just today. And importantly, NEB is also connected to EU development and funding programs. So it's not just a mindset, it's a practical pathway for developing and financing more holistic projects in the built environment. But then to one of my points. At the same time, Business Finland has pointed out that the success rate of Finnish construction and energy efficiency related proposals in Horizon Europe has been clearly lower than in many other sectors. Since 2021, the success rate of these proposals has been only around 8%, even though applications have been submitted in similar volumes to other fields. By comparison, the success rate in climate research has been around 44%, and in transport around 38%. The challenge, however, is not a lack of expertise. Finnish actors have all the knowledge and the technology needed to succeed in these calls. More often, it is said that the problem is that the projects are or remain too narrow in scope or are not clearly connected to broader societal goals. In other words, precisely the kind of holistic approach that the new European Bauhaus emphasizes is still missing from many development projects in the Finnish real estate and construction sector. And this actually raises a fundamental question. How can we strengthen holistic and societal framing in the Finnish built environment sector? At Building Information Foundation, RDI, we have approached this question by examining change in the real estate and construction sector through phenomena and their interconnections. The Ilmiöverkosto project and model was developed precisely to respond to this need, to understand sectoral change in a broad and evidence-based way. This work follows the thinking and values of the new European Bauhaus. The goal has been to build a holistic picture of the operating environment, one that reflects its complexity not only from an environmental angle, but also from social, economic, and cultural perspectives. The starting point is that the Finnish built environment actors already have strong expertise. What is often missing, as I say, is a clear view of the bigger picture and its wider societal links. Ilmiöverkosto is our way to make and help make this context more visible. So in practice, Ilmiöverkosto brings together data and insights from different actors to create a shared understanding of how the sector is changing. And in this way, it supports more holistic thinking in helping actors navigate change, renew their activities, and spot new business opportunities. Building on this work, last spring, we published the first Ilmiöverkosto report, which brings together the results of the project's initial phase. The report looks at the key phenomena that will reshape the Finnish built environment sector over the next 5 to 10 years, and how these changes connect to the wider challenges of our time. The focus is not just on what is changing, but to understand the bigger picture behind these shifts. And to be clear, the insights of the publication didn't emerge by chance. They are a result of a multi-method approach and broad collaboration across different disciplines within the built environment sector. We started by reviewing international research. Building on that, we carried out a 3-stage Delphi study with 160 Finnish experts from across the field. Together, in this process, we identified 28 key phenomena that are likely to shape the sector over the next 5 to 10 years. And then we deepened this work by engaging researchers, and subject matter experts through interviews and collaborative writing, leading to the Ilmiöverkosto publication. I'm briefly going to talk of some of the outcomes we had in the publication. One of the key outcomes was turning numerous global megatrends into 7 change drivers that really matter for the built environment sector. These change drivers bring related global megatrends together and offer a clear solution-oriented way to understand where the sector should be heading. It is important to note that while the megatrends are often framed primarily as problems or pressures, these change drivers are deliberately formulated in a solution-oriented way. They describe what kind of built environment is needed to respond to the polycrisis of our time. To make this a bit more concrete, I'll highlight some of these change drivers as examples and what kind of megatrends are on the background. The change driver long-lasting and circular is driven in particular by the overconsumption of natural resources, biodiversity loss, and thus the growing need to move towards circular economy solutions. Maintainable and resilient reflects the need to adapt to climate change, but also responds to the geopolitical uncertainty and growing health-related challenges. Creates well-being and inclusion is shaped by demographic change and development patterns such as segregation, highlighting the social dimensions of the built environment. A crucial point is that meaningful development projects rarely address just one of these change drivers at a time. Thus, these directions should not be treated as separate silos, but as interconnected goals that can be advanced at the same time. In addition to these broad change drivers, we also looked at what kinds of solutions are already emerging in practice. As part of the project, we identified 28 change phenomena. These phenomena reflect emerging clusters of solutions and innovations in the built environment sector. They respond to wider societal change, but are not yet a part of everyday practice across the sector. In practical terms, they point to areas where pressure on the current system is opening up space for new approaches, business models, and ways of working. I won't go through all the 28 phenomena now, but instead I'll give you a few glimpses. For example, in here, we have urban diversity, climate change adaptation, health promoting living environments, and sustainable urban mobility, all of which are closely linked to both environmental and health resilience in cities. Just to show some examples. In this slide, I picked phenomena that are linked to circular economy, so reuse of building products, the growing role of property management and maintenance, optimizing space, utilization, and simplification. They are all about strengthening circular economy, extending the lifespan on buildings, and making better use of what already exists. The final set of examples include material and product knowledge and sustainable reporting, just to mention a few. They point the growing role of data in the built environment sector. It is impossible to go into all these phenomena in detail today, but to conclude, I will like to highlight one central message. The new European Bauhaus provides a strong holistic framework for developing the built environment. At the same time, it is clear that the Finnish built environment sector is not yet fully utilizing, for example, the EU funding opportunities that are available for this kind of development. As Business Finland has pointed out, the challenge is not a lack of expertise, but uncertainty around what kind of development is needed and how projects should be framed in relation to broader societal objectives. This is precisely where our ilmiöverkosto comes in, by making visible the key change drivers and emergence solution areas. Ilmiöverkosto helps the sector understand what kinds of themes and combinations of themes are increasingly relevant in development and funding context. So stronger societal framing enables not only funding potential, but more importantly, societal relevance and long-term impact. As I didn't have time to show you all the phenomena, if you like to explore more further our ilmiöverkosto work, there are a few ways to continue. You can start with the publication. You find it on our website, rds.fi. The same themes are also explored in a podcast series, an expert-led discussion that is easy to listen on your commute. New episodes every Friday. One is coming today. And you can find them on Spotify. They are just 20 minutes long. And finally, the Ilmiöverkosto Future workshops. They bring these themes into everyday practice. The workshops are made to organizations to reflect on how changes affect their own activities. This spring, we will have 4 open and free workshops, starting with an online session on the 5th of February. Registration is open via our website. Now I will thank you all, and feel free to ask me questions or put me some email on the issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariana. All right, so we have some time for questions, either here on site or online. And do we have any online questions about anyone here? I have one question for you at least. So yeah, very impressive work. And do you have any kind of examples already where some consortiums or organizations have been utilizing ilmiöverkosto results to start planning new projects, for example, for EU funding?
Yes, actually, mainly on the workshops, because in the workshops we go through all the phenomena, and people also always hear about Business Finland EU funding possibilities. So I think there have been discussions that people have got some inspiration at least, and we have helped at least in some way in those.
Good. And then follow up. As we know, the world is changing quite rapidly these days. So how often will you be kind of updating your ilmiöverkosto results?
Hopefully, this is our efforts that we hope that this will become a part of our industry, like maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. The world is changing more rapidly than that, but let's see. We hope that in some years we can make another set, because as we know, the world is changing.
Any other? Yes, here.
So you are saying that this building sector needs a vaster networking and this kind of was their approach and going outside the comfort zone maybe. What would you say that would be the first steps that you would recommend for different companies to make this happen?
Well, from my perspective in the Building Information Foundation would be to explore our work, of course, to get familiar with different kinds of themes, and maybe also themes that are not so familiar to you. Be courageous and look into themes that are not that familiar to you. There are 28 phenomena, so some of them are more relevant to you, but some of them are not that familiar. So I would recommend to look into those that are not familiar. Maybe that will broaden your thinking.
Great. We have also one comment on online, but let's take this first.
I have a question from the perspective of the architect. How in line are the city planning department and building regulations department in these sort of issues, and how involved have they been in creating this report, and how much input have they added to it, and what is their direction? Because I think a lot of the influence in the industry comes from those two specific departments.
Very, very good question. I will say that on the methods, on the way we did the report, we had the 160 expert panel. We made sure that it was through every part of the sector. So we had architects, we had city planners, we had from every sector of the throughout the sector. So that is our way to ensure that all of the views come through the report.
Good. And then we have the question online. What about issues that are larger than project level, like political or systematic, e.g. funding mechanisms for affordable housing, or the lack of organizations that build them?
Well, very hard question. What about issues that are larger than project? Well, yeah, a very good question. I cannot address it by our Ilmiöverkosto project. Yeah, our perspective was to create phenomena that are crucial to our sector at this moment, and the solutions and the phenomena are in some way a bit more concrete. I know these contexts are very important to take on, but this time it was this approach in our Ilmiöverkosto project.
Yeah, I think many ways the Ilmiöverkosto results are also kind of addressing the systemic level.
Yeah.
But maybe not providing like ready-made answers.
Yes, truly, yes.
Yeah, so there's
Exactly.
it's kind of the stakeholders' job to start creating answers.
Yes.
All right. I think it's time to go forward with the program. Thank you again, Marianna.
Thank you.
And next, I would like to invite Markku Pekonen, Senior Advisor from Business Finland, to the stage to talk about how can companies participate. That was one of the questions earlier, so now we get some concrete answers. Here's a microphone, and here's the clicker. And go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Yes, so where to start? Glad to be here. Glad to see so many of you here and online. And I am indeed Markku Pekonen, actually currently Chief Advisor. I got a promotion. How about that? from Business Finland's EU team, as well as the Energy Transition Unit. And I'm a national contact point for Horizon Europe's Cluster 5, which contains climate, energy, and mobility. I'm also a national contact point for a couple of EU missions, the climate neutral smart cities, and the adaptation to climate change mission as well. And I'm also an RDI NCP for New European Bauhaus, and I guess that's why I'm here. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about Horizon Europe and New European Bauhaus calls now. I mean, under or in relation to New European Bauhaus, there are also these programs like LIFE and other stuff, but those are not so pertinent at the moment, because when it comes to the Horizon Europe part, the calls will be opening soon, and there are quite a few of them, and a lot of money involved, and hence a lot of opportunities for Finnish companies in this area. So now we should consider or think about what type of a project or initiative is suitable for EU funding in general or for Horizon Europe. Now, the majority of EU funding is allocated to top-down call topics, which is basically that the Commission, in collaboration with academia, with the industries, they design these call topics that are supposed to address global or at least European challenges. So pertinence is key. And if you think that your project initiative doesn't really fit the call topic or the text, then I gotta say that you're most likely right in that. In an ideal scenario, the call topic aligns with your company's R&D roadmap, which then the observed EU funding instrument, in this case, it could be NEB, caters to. And so there's going to should be a strategic fit through which you can leverage your high-risk endeavor. And when the subject of the project requires knowledge and expertise not attainable domestically, then, well, it's all about international collaboration in NEB as well. So you're going to have to have at least 3 different organizations from 3 member states or associated countries, but typically these consortia are far larger. So maybe 6 to 10 participants, 7 to 15 participants, but it's all about collaboration. And we're talking about not only companies, but all kinds of organizations. So pretty much any legal entity can participate. Associations, universities of applied sciences, obviously, SMEs, large companies, all kinds of legal entities. And the evaluation criteria, which also pertains to New European Bauhaus, consists of 3 parts. So the evaluators, when they are evaluating a proposal, they're going to be looking at excellence, the quality of implementation that you are going to promise, and then the impact that you are also promising. And this criteria applies to the entire consortium and proposal, and therefore it's important to collaborate with the right kinds of partners to promise and achieve the results that the Commission is looking for. So do seek opportunity, but don't be opportunistic. And then this was touched upon in the previous speech and also in the Business Finland article, which actually I wrote. But when designing your proposal, you're going to need to go down this list logically. You're going to need to address the EU policy priorities and then also the key strategic orientations set by them. Then you will move on to the impact areas, then the expected impacts, then the expected outcomes, and then finally the project results. And these should all be addressed in your proposal. So this just, I'm explaining the basic logic here. And where can you find these core topics? Well, they are published in work programs. And the work programs is the basic document for the implementation of these calls. They can be found in the Funding and Tenders portal. They are now currently available and public, surprisingly. There were delays, but now they're finally here, and we can talk about them openly. And for this presentation, I was going to do some, actually not some, but brief one-slide summaries of each of the call topics. But I ran out of time. So here I'm just going to list them, basically, in order to save time. And then once I get those summaries finalized within, hopefully by next week, then I think we can promise to send those to the participants as a pretty much like a bonus. But regardless, all the details of the calls can already be found in the on the Funding and Tenders portal. The call descriptions and the call text usually there are a couple of A4 papers long. So a lot of details there, and you must read the call topic texts very carefully, and you should know how to interpret things, because when they say should, it actually means must, and these kinds of things. And yeah, what you must understand before joining a potential consortium, you need to look at the call text and the topic description. You need to address the scope, the expected outcomes, the expected impacts. You need to understand the type of actions. There are three main types of actions. There are research and innovation actions, there are innovation actions, and coordinative and supportive actions. And the research and innovation action, or the RIA, so to speak, to use the acronym, is closer to the academic side of things, whereas the innovation action, or IA, is closer to the market, so higher TRL levels, technology readiness levels, if you are familiar with those. And then you got to look at the eligibility of formal requirements, as well as the evaluation criteria. And as I mentioned, read the text call line by line, because proposals very often fail because they only partially respond to what is asked. But now let's see how much time I still have, a little bit. So moving on to the overview of the calls. So the call dates or the timelines can be seen here. So this, I call them regular calls, regular NEB calls. So there's one round in 2026, starting in May, and it's closing in December. 27 calls, also opening in May and closing in December the next year. And then there's an exception in this work program. It's a joint call with the soil mission, which actually has a slightly different closing date. So it's a shorter time to prepare your proposal. But here, so as I mentioned, there are 2 rounds of calls, 1 per year, and each of them has basically 3 sets of 3 different calls. So the first one I've listed here is related to participation, and it's, for example, addressing homelessness through housing-led approaches aligned with NEB. Then there are innovative approaches for the spatial design of neighborhoods, and then understanding inhabitants' experiences of neighborhoods. So very citizen-centered calls, shall we say. And on the right side of these slides, you can see how much the Commission has budgeted, what's the expected project size, budget-wise, and then also you can see how many projects per call topic the Commission is planning to fund. Now, moving on to the next set. 27, participation again. So it's about neighborhoods, and neighborhoods. So novel combination of knowledge and research methods to address social issues, for example, intergenerational neighborhoods, and then co-governance in the green transition of neighborhoods. So I would expect that companies could also have something to play with here. Then moving on to the beautiful side of things, inclusive and sustainable neighborhoods for communities. So what should I say about this? It's about beauty and also thermal, the first call I'm referring to, thermal comfort in buildings. So I would assume that Finnish companies in this field might have some solutions for thermal comfort in buildings. Then sustainable maintenance and repair measures for existing buildings, so renovation, kind of like. Then, yeah, I would imagine Finns would have something to offer here. And then also innovative solutions for the sustainable and beautiful use of vertical space. Now, that's quite a fascinating one, but I won't go into that one. Then, the second set for this particular theme, here we're talking about combining conventional and innovative construction materials, products and techniques. So Finnish building firms, construction firms, surely there's opportunity here. And then in the second one, sustainable, beautiful and healthy construction and renovation sites. Yes, much opportunity there. And then finally, revitalizing neighborhoods around existing railway and motorway corridors. Well, that's kind of like something I would imagine architects might have something to offer, or planners. And then innovative models for neighborhoods that integrate beauty, inclusiveness and sustainability. So addressing homelessness, understanding capital market dynamics for increased investment, and approaches to reuse vacant, obsolete or underutilized spaces. So these are basically more business related topics as per the call code. And then the second set for this theme for 27, mass customization of off-site manufactured modular construction components to transform the existing built environment. I wonder what that means. Well, innovative models for collective community investment and ownership. That's a research and innovation action, as you can see. So more on the closer to the academic research side. And then finally, anticipating the long-term future of neighborhoods in line with the new European Bauhaus. Well, I think those were the basic regular calls. And then finally, very briefly, the joint call between NEB and the Soil Deal for Europe mission. And here they are looking to reduce soil sealing through sustainable urban and territorial design. And it's an innovation action, so pretty close to the market. But the budget per project is actually quite significant. So I would imagine that the consortium that's going to conduct this one is going to be quite big. And now, so I wonder if this piqued your interest. So if you want to learn more, then the NEB Facility 2026 Call Info Day is coming on Tuesday, 24th of February. So in just about less than a month. It's going to be a 4-hour session. So there's going to be a lot of information regarding these calls and of course NEB, New European Bauhaus in general. But it was stated on the website that the topics themselves will not be presented in full detail due to time constraints. It's only 4 hours. Going through them in detail would probably take a whole day. And they are actually saying on their own website that just read the work program. So I don't know, that's a new approach, but that's how it is. And if you are interested in Horizon Europe in general, especially the Finnish audience, because sadly most of the content hasn't been translated into English on our website, then you can go to horisonttieuroopa.fi or just navigate there from the Business Finland website for further information on pretty much anything related to Horizon Europe, news, events, whatnot, and then also most importantly our NCP contact information. And what NCPs do, so national contact points, if you have any questions related to any part of Horizon Europe, you can just directly contact us and we'll do everything in our power in relation to our available resources to assist you with whatever question you might have. And I don't have a concluding slide, so I'll just say thank you and any questions.
Thank you, Markku. So yeah, we have time for questions. Any questions online or on site over here?
Thank you. I have two questions, if it's okay. The first one is, in what phase do you recommend to approach you? Would it be when we have all the partners or only the idea? And the second question is, I know that Business Finland usually prefers to fund ideas that are more like related to a product or service. On the other hand, I understood that this is an opportunity also for other organizations, maybe more consultancies or these types of ideas. So it would be great to hear what kind of, is it really a new approach that now Business Finland that can also fund these kind of projects?
Yes, so this is not Business Finland funding. We only have an advisory role in relation to new European Bauhaus. It's an EU initiative. So we just have the mandate from the Commission to advise regarding Horizon Europe funding. Then previously, I must mention, now that I still have a couple of minutes, that previously we were, as Business Finland, able to provide preparatory funding for basically Horizon Europe proposal preparation. But due to government cuts, it's been put on ice for now, sadly. But maybe it'll come back in one form or another at some point. And then also when it comes to Business Finland funding, so we provide funding mainly for research organizations and companies. And if you do have, for example, a Business Finland funded co-innovation project, then basically an EU preparation component even currently can be included as a work package for such a project. So there's still a sort of an opportunity there as well. And then when it comes to contacting us, I think you asked at what point you should contact us or you could contact us, then the answer is at any point, basically. We don't have the resources to help you write a proposal. You might want to look into a private consultant to help assist with that if you don't have the expertise or the capacity within your own company or organization. But then again, it's also a good idea to partner with, for example, a university or a research institution, because they are very, very experienced in writing these proposals and also very successful at it. And when it comes to these consortia that I mentioned, then there usually has to be a mix of academia and companies and maybe some other kinds of organizations in order to, really make it a successful proposal and project.
Any other questions? Do you have anything online? No. That would have been my question regarding the support for the planning proposals or writing proposals, but I guess it's not available at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you are writing a proposal, then if we have the time and resources, then we do like to comment on those, but we can't really help with the actual writing process, but we can for example, have a look and comment if we see something that could be improved, or that say that, okay, this is excellent, keep doing that, or focus on that. So at that level, we can assist.
Also, the financial aid is on hold at the moment. So.
Sadly, yes. Yes. For this particular purpose. For other purposes, which you can find on Business Finland's website, there is funding available, and actually this year and in the upcoming year, the availability of funding has actually increased quite significantly.
Through that. And as we saw, there's a lot of calls and a lot of topics available within the NEB program. So I would say something for everyone. So definitely there's a place to see some interesting opportunities for your next projects. And don't forget Tuesday, 24th of February. Join the event if you're interested. All right. Maybe it's time to go forward the program. Let's give an applause to Markku again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now it's time to actually look at concrete examples of projects that we've been have been going on within the network. So next, you're already here. Welcome. So I would like to invite to the stage Raul Castaneo de la Rosa, Senior Research Fellow from Tampere University, and Toni Paju, CEO of Crowdsource. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for the invite of explaining and presenting you the project that I'm coordinating in the as part of my group. I'm coming from the Faculty of Built Environment, the Architecture Unit in Tampere University, where I'm co-chairing the Sustainable Housing Design Research Group, and also I'm leading the research area of resilient and social energy transition in housing. And this is the project that we kick off in September last year as a coordinator. So this is I can give you also some insight of all the administrative stuff that you need to go through. But so a brief presentation about what the project is about, but then we will go deeper in the collaboration with company, and also Toni will further explain that, and we can even have questions and break the fear of jumping into these collaborations. So in Nature Project, what we want to explain, to present is how we can support this transdisciplinary collaboration. We need the EU research ecosystem. So we will explain briefly the project and then go into cross-source side. Briefly, the project in Nature, the main aim of in Nature is implementing in 5 different demo cases across Europe, and we will see later what those cases are. New innovative solution that there will be a nature-based solution and following the new European Bauhaus principles. So we are aiming that they will be sustainable, beautiful, and inclusive. And then we need that. We define what we mean with beautiful in the project. That for us is need to be contextual related factor included. So we one of the innovation that we have here is that we implement this holistic approach in the implementation locally in each demo case. So the solution, the nature-based solution, NBS, will be totally different in each demo case. We have an idea of what we want to do, but the ultimate result will be depending of the people involved, because this is, as you will see later, is we implement this co-creation, participatory approach with the local community. So here we have this is a actually quite large consortium, 21 partners, 7 countries and 5 demo cases. One is in Tampere, and Tampere City is also one of the partners involved. We have actually the municipality in the 5 demo cases, they are partner. No, only 3 of them are partner. That means that they get budget from the project, and other 2 they are associated, we can see, and because they decided they didn't want to get the budget from the project, because also that had all administrative implication that depending of your resources, you might want or not to be officially named as a partner. So this is something that you also need to discuss with the coordination team before jumping into the project and agree those administrative stuff when you need to do the invoicing and how you that affect your task related matter. And when we are talking involving a startup or a small company, also even more. There is something that in Tampere we have a good research services support that can help, and also Tony can give his own view on that, on this understanding these practical matters. So, so the project we have basically one key activity that is more about the theory and the research aspect that we will be doing as part of the university. We have university in each country that will be supporting that theoretical activity. Then we have our package, what we call the eco-social living lab. This is where everything will be happening. Those are the demo cases. And then we have different work packages that is implementing different methodology. For instance, one innovation that we have is that we will implement art conversations. Different art methodology will be implementing each demo cases. Actually, we will be opening now in Tampere in a few weeks a tender for artists to apply and get involved in the project as a subcontracting. But in each demo cases that will be different, and they will be using different approaches. Then we also have ecologists and expert team in monitoring and evaluating the actual impact of the solution in each demo cases. So we will control and monitor the quality of the soil, the microclimate, and so on. That will be happening in each demo cases all along the project. Then we have the one key work package where Tony will be explaining further what he will be doing, but this is basically where we have the integrated digital platform. We also needed some digital aspect in the project, and this is where Tony is jumping in. And then we have a framework in which we want also to unveil the hidden costs of voluntary work, participatory project. Those costs that they are not actually usually considered in the management of the different solutions. That indeed it matters if we want to consider the long-term stability of those solutions, that they are public and are for the community. So more now focus on the digital aspect of on how this collaboration started with. So actually, the way Tony and me we met is because I was part of another project, and in that project we wanted to include and to do research about good examples of citizen science project activity that have been happening in Tampere. So I heard about the work that Tony is doing with his company, Crossosa, the app, and I saw, okay, this is a good example that we should include in this project. So he was part of the sample in the study. So we did interview with him. We got to know more about that. So that project finished, and then when we started this project, one of the as we have been listening before, you need to know what everything is requested in the proposal. They were not saying that you need to address or it's mandatory that you include digital aspect, but you should. Okay, you should then consider. Because we didn't want the digital aspect to be the core of the proposal, because we wanted to do something new. We knew that many of the proposal will go with AI driving methodology and data analysis. We wanted to do something something very, very different with the core of the new European Bauhaus, bottom-up approach, but we needed something that was digital. And then it came to my mind, okay, actually, we need to implement this city design approach in which with something simple that people can use. And then I said, okay, Tony is working with the app, an app that is very accessible, is fun, anyone can actually use, implement this intergenerational approach. Okay, let's have a chat with him. Maybe he is also interesting and trust on me to join this new idea. So I came up with this approach of what we think that the digital platform will be playing the role in the project. So I reached out to Tony and explained, okay, we are thinking that we want to have a platform that can also support communication, can also disseminate the results, but ultimately we also want to connect with the people in the different demo cases. We want people to be part of the co-creation. We want people to also learn and be part of the impact that we want to do. Though he said, oh, but actually, we are happy to join the discussion. And maybe now he can also explain even further how everything was framing, but this is was coming from there. Obviously, one thing that maybe, and we can discuss later on that, on the trust. We already built that trust before. Maybe it's also following up with the previous presentation, is that there are many opportunities, but we need to be careful with who we are collaborating, because there are a lot of administrative staff and coordination work at the EU level that they request, that ultimately all the consortium is involved in that and responsible for delivering all the expected outcome. So when you get the funding, now it's your responsibility to deliver. And if you say that you are going to implement 5 demo cases, if you don't implement the 5 demo cases, you don't get the money. And we are talking with, we are in the university, somehow it's okay if we lose some money, we can say, but we are working with many companies, a small company, that for them, don't receiving the payment is a huge issue. So we also need to consider what are the implications for all the partners involved in the consortium. So this is the role of the coordinator as well, that is not only about, and this is maybe part of the value that we have in our own research group, that in this case, we wanted to build our dream project, our dream team, because we want to rely on each other and we want to make sure that we all go into the same direction. Because ultimately, one practical aspect in this Horizon project, that the payment is coming in different installments. That means that the company and the institution, they need to invest upfront. You get a specific percentage of the money, but then it's not until, at least in our case, until 2 years after the project has started, we have an interim reporting, official reporting with the commission. We need to submit what we have been doing, what we have been achieving so far. And if we don't get the approval of that reporting, we don't get the money for that, for the rest of the period. But other companies have been already investing until then. So if now they say, okay, I have been already spending 20% of my own budget, and you are telling me that we are not going to get the money, I'm losing already 20% of my own investment. So that means that we also need to be always making clear that in the whole consortium, that this is something that is not your task, it's the project task. We are involved. And ultimately, we don't get the full budget. We need to, the last 20% is coming once the project has finished and the final reporting has been submitted, so that the commission know that you have delivered what we agree on. Now you get the final payment. So it's a long process that everything needs to be discussed beforehand. And I think that honesty, transparency, and trust is key in the success of this kind of proposal. But that's it from my side, from the university. Now, I think Tony also you can also say the negative aspect. Something happened, but yeah, happy to continue with discussion after.
Yeah, I have no negative things to say, but thanks for the good intro. Hi everyone. So yeah, I'll start with the introduction to crowdsourcing, so you understand the context a little bit. So in 2019, I was working in this road project, and an ex-colleague of mine came to show me this AI model developed by Vaisala that detects the condition of roads from videos with AI. It was pretty amazing to see at that time, because AI wasn't a big mainstream thing back then. And I immediately started thinking, okay, wow, anyone can record videos. You could build some kind of a crowdsourced road condition monitoring system. Then I was struggling for a while, like, okay, what should it look like? My wife said, why don't you make it into a game? And I immediately thought of Pac-Man, like, wow, yeah, I'll sprinkle these virtual fruits that are worth money on roads, and people collect them by recording videos. That way you see where the data is still missing. It's fun, it's easy to market, and it's easy to explain to people. So yeah, that's how crowdsourcing got started. We did that for the first couple of years. After that, I realized, okay, we can't actually make a living out of this, because cities don't survey the condition of their roads that often, because it's expensive and so on. And then the kind of the main thing that we were thinking about was like, okay, what else can we do with this game? This obviously appeals to people. They love collecting data this way. So maybe we can do some other use cases with crowdsourcing. And the first kind of excursion outside of these road condition surveys came from a problem that the city of Tampere had. They had transferred the locations of these manhole covers from paper maps, and they didn't do 100% good job, so they were missing like thousands of manhole covers from their data set. So we recommend, okay, why don't we do a game for you where the map is empty in the beginning, and then people start taking photos and marking these manhole covers on the map. Then we get the data set and we can compare it to what you have now, and then identify those missing ones. And that was super successful. So there's like 710 people who came out. 24 hours, we get 24,000 manhole covers all around the city on the map. Then we compare it to the existing data set and got, okay, there's 2,750 manhole covers that are missing. Yeah, that had quite good coverage in the media as well. So after that, we kind of got convinced, okay, we're gonna just start inventing new use cases to the app. And then, well, to this day, everything revolves around geolocated images, but it's this kind of gamified data collection and micro tasks. You may have read about this invasive species removal, this lupine game, which is quite popular. We got the government's biodiversity award in November for that, World Summit Award a year ago in the green energy and environment category. So that's our most popular use case. But that's kind of the philosophy of the company and what we do, come up with different use cases. So when Raul approached me, I thought immediately, okay, wow, this actually sounds interesting, this project, because it fits exactly that we can, we have these 5 demo cases and we come up with kind of different use case for each one. And maybe we come up with something that we can sell to the cities, and that helps those use cases scale, so that they're not just something that are being piloted in this project and then forgotten, but we can actually then kind of use our own sales and marketing resources to turn that into a business and then scale those solutions. But I think I covered the first 2 points. Just a sec, I'll see. Yeah, and then there's the other fact from the nature point of view, that if they start creating some kind of an app for this with the budget that was allocated for this, it would be some kind of very MVP version, and it would a large part of the funds would go to making this basic infrastructure for the app. You wouldn't have this learning curve that we've had in terms of like engaging people and what kind of problems you run into and what's important to kind of figure out. So that's really good from the in nature point of view. And finally, there's of course the fact that you have Sheffield, there's Copenhagen, Brezoi in Romania, and then there's Antwerp and Tampere. So 4 out of those 5 cities are kind of interesting places for us to expand. So we're also going to get a chance to introduce, maybe get some media attention in those countries through these different use cases. So that's also quite attractive for us. Meaning of the funding, well, there's always a risk when you're doing a new use case that you're going to just waste your money, that it's actually not going to sell well. Obviously, we've learned that lesson. Whenever we're doing something new, we make sure that we can actually sell this and something that's being bought enough so that we should invest in it. But this funding, although there's the part that we have to pay ourselves, it still significantly lowers the risk of experimenting with these new use cases. So it's not like we have wasted a ton of money on something that ends up not selling. So that's kind of attractive for us, and why the funding for this is really important. That's the first 2 points. Yeah, and obviously, when coming up with new use cases, we're limited to the expertise that we have in the company. So this gives a chance to work with top researchers, very smart people who can then help us create these new use cases and pilot them and iterate during the project. So my thoughts and tips from this experience so far, it's good that there's synergies in place when you're doing something like this, because otherwise it's just a distraction. We wouldn't have gone into this if it would have been something like we act as an IT firm, that we develop something for them that we're not going to use otherwise. So there's pretty good synergies in terms of like our philosophy and then the needs of the project. And the participation in these Horizon projects can be a great way to expand your international reach. Obviously, still we haven't implemented anything yet, but we've come up with some pretty good interesting ideas already for this project, what the use cases might be. And fit with the values of the project and the values of the company is the final thing. So basically, all of us at Crowdsource are very environmentally conscious. We've kind of drifted from that road condition survey to a lot of these environmental missions that have some kind of an environmental aim. So that's also, it feels comfortable working with the team. Feels like the values are aligned. That's all from my side. Thanks.
All right, we have some time for questions again. So anyone here? Yes.
Thank you. So just a very simple and quick question. And I'm asking this because I forgot to mention it in my own presentation. What's the funding rate for your project?
The funding rate?
Yes.
So we got the whole project 5 million, and then the university get 100%, and then the company only 70%. This is why also we need to, and depending of the for Tony, is something that we had to make clear, that you get 70%, and then we have also a small company that is also one of the reasons the artist is not part of the is not as a didn't came in Tampere as a already partner, because it's very small the funding that they get, that is 70% for them is not feasible in terms when they need to later on do the tasks and all the administrative stuff. So we saw, okay, this is not, because this is about thinking about the further implication for the whole consortium. So then we say, okay, because it's not much, we are talking about maybe 70,000 euro, which is not much. It doesn't make sense when according to that. So we say, okay, we will have a subcontracting tender later, and we include it. So for us as a university, we get 100%, but then for the company, 70% of the budget.
Okay, so it's an innovation action.
Yeah, this is innovation action.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it was a research and innovation action, the company would have also gotten 100%. Just a comment.
Not very common, unfortunately, in the school as well.
All right. Any other questions here?
I guess that all the demos need to be implemented in the area of the Tampere city, or
The demo case?
yeah.
Well, in this case, the demo case is in Tampere, but then it's up to how you define the proposal.
Okay. So it doesn't need to be specifically in the
No,
region.
in our case, for instance, now, because the nature of the solution that we will have in Tampere is a meado, so that means that we don't need to stick to Tampere. If we, in this first theoretical analysis that we are doing, and we see that something emerging aligned with the project, we see that we should include other areas, we can do it as soon as the expected outcome is delivered. Yeah.
All right. One more here.
Thank you for explaining everything based on the collaboration, everything and all that. And I just wanted to know how many people involved in the project from university side and how many people were working for this project from the company side.
So in Tampere, we are now two research group in different faculty because we need we are in the built environment, and then we have colleague in policy and ecology. So we are talking now about 10 people involved, but obviously not full time. We have defined the way that we can, and the way that we define the project is that we want to make sure that we get the right people and with the right expertise. So we didn't apply actually to say we need the we know it's not the kind of project that a university will go for, an innovation action, because we want to do research. And this is basically the research aspect is a small component. They don't pay you to publish papers. They pay you to implement the demo cases solution. But we wanted to make an impact. And this is why we put it together. So for the university point of view, yeah, we will do research, we will publish, we are trying to make the most. But our aim is also to make the impact and to see that after 4 years, we go to Tampere and we see something that we have made something good for society. So we have 10 people working. No one is working full time. We are working depending 3 months, or we have defining accordingly. In Crossorsa, how many?
We have 6 people that have some level of 6 people that have some level of engagement in the project, at least.
The challenge or the disadvantages of having full-time people in projects like this that require multidisciplinary approach and different expertises is that it's more difficult for the team to adapt to emergency circumstances. If we see that now that we need ecology or we need a specific expertise, if you have one person only with the contract in the university that you made the contract for 4 years, for instance, it's a PhD, you are very narrow what you can deliver. And if you are not going to be flexible enough to address other action that might come from the project, because we don't know how this will progress ultimately. We need to be always open. Things we might be going in the different direction, but we will find alternative. But it's going to be for sure not going 100% as we are planned.
Great. Thank you again, Raul and Toni. And let's go forward with the program. Thank you. All right. And next, I will invite to the stage Jenni Radun, Program Director from Metropolia, to talk about design for regenerative cities research program. All right.
Hello.
Go ahead.
This is on now? Okay. Excellent. So we've been hearing a lot about New European Bauhaus and about holistic view and how the construction companies and construction industry can go to the outside their comfort zone. So maybe talking with us might be one solution to this. So I'm going to present our R&D program, Design for Regenerative Cities, and Päivi has been also a crucial part of forming this. And this is for the human side of the European Bauhaus. So we all know the global challenges that have been mentioned already here many times today. But here are the main challenges that the program is built on. So we have urbanization, which is one of the most significant demographic shifts in human history, which fundamentally alters how and where people live, work, and build communities across the globe. And in 25, already 81% of world's population lived in cities or towns. And we all heard about climate change, of course, and nature laws that create needs for transition. And this challenges people to adjust to the new environments and rules, and also the building sector. There is need for knowledge on how people can change their behavior and cope with these challenges. Then we have modern urban lifestyle, which is associated with chronic stress, insufficient physical activity, and exposure to anthropogenic environmental hazards. So we need environments that foster human well-being, for example, through green spaces and sense of community. So here we come for the core of our program, which is actually the New European Bauhaus values. So our goal is to create sustainable, inclusive, and aesthetically enriching urban environments. And so this is a part of the Smart and Creative City Innovation Hub inside Metropolia. And we have there 2 different programs, and this is concentrating on the human part. And the other program is more on the digital building side and so forth. But we hopefully are able to cross this gap between construction sector and these New European Bauhaus values, which we can here also see in this participatory, so sustainable, beautiful, and inclusive environments. So we are trying to do this by using psychological expertise to get the user view, so to understand users and their well-being and actions in different environments and contexts. Then we have design expertise to alter the system. We have the system view. So we want to change the system through transdisciplinary collaboration and participatory methods that are in the focus of New European Bauhaus. And to do this, we are using technological and creative expertise that we have. So we want to have enhanced citizen participation and empower cities. So for example, through technology, we can do this by doing the design solutions more tangible through XR, so extended reality or virtual reality, or we have also creative expertise that can help us to create different beautiful solutions for these challenges that we have. So which are in the line with New European Bauhaus, these values. Päivi already mentioned in the first speech of today that we have had a project with the NEB approach, these circular green blocks, that was selected as one of the finalists for new European Bauhaus prizes in 24. So this was a project which used action research approach to seek a transformative change through the simultaneous process of implementing actions and doing research via conducting practical experiments. So this was done in the Vantaa, Helsinki, and Espoo, different housing blocks that were defining themselves how they could enhance their participation and use how they could enhance their participation. And here you can see that they decided each of them had some courtyard development in their plan, but also sharing equipment. But these were all adjusted to their own needs, which were the needs of those blocks in these cases. So they defined their development needs themselves. Here are the platforms for collaboration, and collaboration is inside Metropolia. So these are the assets we can use in Metropolia. We have Helsinki XR Center, that is a leading European RDI hub for emerging technologies. So there we get the specialized technology developers that we can use in our projects. They have many national and international projects. We also have our smart campus. It's this Myllypuro campus is a smart building with gold level smart building certification from Smart Building Collective. How is this related to New European Bauhaus? Is maybe that when we make these different interventions, or when we make living labs, we can use this as a site where we can also measure the impact easily. That's why I wanted to put it here. Then we have our creative dimension platform, which is Metropolia's collaborative platform for culture and creative fields. And here are the New European Bauhaus calls for 26 that we have identified that we are interested in. So if you have similar interests, please contact us. And as Markku already here presented, these are mostly connected with participation and yeah, maybe the participation part mostly. And yeah, we are interested in collaboration, so don't hesitate to contact us. And I hope that we can be the partner with whom you can go outside your comfort zone if needed. So thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Let's give an applause. And we have some time for questions again or comments, either online or here at Urban 3. Anyone? Yeah.
Regarding the 3 example projects that you showed, who did you work with? Did you work with the property owners, or who was the sort of like instigator or the main like anchor for those projects?
Yeah, so I will jump in because I was actually involved with this project. It was funded by European Regional Development Fund, and on the block level, these were 2 of these were rental apartments. So there was VVO and M2 houses, which were our main contact points, but also the housing associations within these blocks. And one of those was privately owned, like omistusasuntoja. So there it was also the housing association who was the key contact point from the block side. But the whole project was done in collaboration with HSY, Forum Virium, and Aalto University. But Metropolis part was this participatory approach on the block level. Yes. Who instigated?
Yeah, so who instigated it?
Well, so you mean who started it?
Or who was it that I'm trying to think like how this can be duplicated, basically. So if we have a partnership with existing property owners who are looking to redevelop and renovate, did it come from them, or did it come from the individual owners of the properties, as in the apartment owners, or how did it sort of like where did the first snowflake fall and where did it come from?
Yeah, so it became through earlier projects that we had done with these housing companies, M2 and VAV, and they had a need for this. And then the whole project was built around how can we bring sharing economy to block level, so to people's everyday life. Previously, it has been done more on a regional. And what kind of business opportunities would that bring to SMEs? How they could test their solutions on block level. But I think it came through discussions with different stakeholders and identifying common space of needs, and then or similar enough needs so that they could be addressed together. So it comes down to networking really and talking with people. It's really difficult to say where do these things actually start. Yes.
All right. Any other quick questions? Maybe we will then go to the final piece of the program. Thank you. And the final piece will be actually presented by myself. So hello everyone again. I'm Teemu Lehtinen, CEO of KiraHub, and I'm going to be briefly talk about KiraHub's ecosystem and connections to NEB activities. So for you, those of you who don't know what KiraHub is, so we're a national innovation hub for real estate and construction sector here in Finland, and operating as a non-profit association. And this urban tree space is our home. We have 3 points in our strategy. We promote selected development themes that we in practice do with our collaboration members within our thematic ecosystems. We do a lot of matchmaking. We connect right stakeholders together, and we facilitate the adoption of new technology solutions and flow of data within the built environment sector. We have a growing base of collaboration members, over 120 companies and organizations at the moment, and 13 founding members, which are the industry associations and this kind of organizations like Confederation of Construction Industries, RDI in Finland, and Association of Building Owners, Rakli. Currently, we facilitate 6 different thematic ecosystems with our members. First one is CO2 Data Hub, focusing on sharing and utilizing CO2 emission data within the stakeholder network. Then we have digital building permit ecosystem, focusing on digitalizing permitting processes and also introducing building information model, BIM-based practices in the process. Then we have PropTech Finland, helping tech startups and scale-ups succeed within the built environment sector. And then the latest additions are built environment energy ecosystem, focusing on the role of built environment stakeholders in the energy transition. Then situational awareness data ecosystem, focusing on helping data sources to be unified for situational awareness solutions within the construction sites, both buildings and infrastructure. And then finally, smart city innovations and concepts, focusing on building a joint offering for smart city challenges, global level. We are quite active in a couple of international networks as well. This is our main networks where we also get a lot of invitations and opportunities for building EU projects. Urban Hub Europe is kind of the top level network for us, connecting 7 different innovation hubs in different European countries, focusing on the built environment sector. So in addition to us, Kirab, there's Blocks Hub in Denmark, Contact Lab also from Denmark, Digital Construction Cluster from Estonia, Munich Urban Co-Lab from Germany, Nordic Edge from Norway, and Smart City Cluster from Spain. Through our projects within the EDI, so European Digital Innovation Hubs, we're part of the working group construction there as well, where all the EDI projects that have construction or built environment topic involved have kind of formed this working group and are constantly meeting, which has actually become a great platform for joint EU proposals as well. And then finally, we are a third member from Finland for EU BIM Task Group, in addition to Senate Properties and Väylävirasto. This is mostly for our digital building permit ecosystem, which we are connected to this. Couple of concrete examples of NEB activities within our network. This was actually the first time that the whole new European Bauhaus kind of came into the discussion within our network, where our collaborator hub from Denmark, Blocks Hub, was started to plan this project proposal, desire how to make cities irresistibly sustainable. It's been going for many years already with a quite large consortium, and they have also developed this kind of a digital learning hub where they combine kind of the results of the project into an easy use toolkit in that sense. Other project is from the other collaboration hub, Nordic Edge in Norway, called NEB Star, and so it's New European Bauhaus Stavanger, and this is kind of the Nordic Edge role in the project, which actually represent quite usual role for us as an innovation hub and this kind of neutral facilitator within this project. So there's communication, dissemination, content development, financial partnership models, event organization, and then integration into Nordic roadmaps. And finally, this is actually a project proposal that we're waiting for a decision. We were invited as Kira Hub to join this RAIN project for the last year's one of the NEB calls, which is about reassembly for beautiful built environment. And this is focusing on reclaimed insulation materials, where there's actually quite a lot of companies within our network in Finland have special expertise for this. And so there's 4 different aims in the project: to develop a model of increased reassembly of reclaimed insulation materials, so RAIM model, pilot this model in neighborhood scale in different pilot sites across different countries, and then evaluate the impacts of the reclaimed insulation material as a potential for scalability, and then scale the model in support of the increase of use reassembly for reclaimed insulation materials in the whole Europe. And it's quite a big consortium, as you can see from the middle picture, representing different stakeholders from research, industry, innovation hubs, networks, standardization, and knowledge center. So let's see how it goes with the decision later in the spring. But that was my brief introduction. If there's any questions for me at this point, happy to take those. Yes.
Could you slightly elaborate on the EU BIM task group of your?
Yeah, it's actually a group of public clients all over Europe that have kind of joined together to discuss and plan public level initiatives on adoption of BIM in Europe. So there's governments, little bit cities, municipalities involved as well. So looking at how public clients basically do public procurement of buildings and infrastructure with BIM, and then provide, for example, guidelines, and then also develop, for example, the permitting processes in different European states. Any other?
Regarding this slide on the wall, I think this is quite pertinent because it doesn't list any actual housing or building developers in your partner group. So I think it's quite a sort of illustration of where there's a big problem between mass construction organizations and the ideas behind what we're talking about today.
Yeah, I mean, of course, those stakeholders come from the networks of these players. So not every stakeholder needs to be an actual member of the consortium, but each stakeholders within the consortium have larger networks that they can then utilize in the project. Otherwise, those consortiums could be even larger.
I mean, the on-site practical experience that is provided by those organizations is fundamental in any of these kind
of course,
processes. So I think it's really, we're particularly in Finland, we're in quite dire straits to get actual contractors and builders on board with these initiatives, because I really think that they are sitting on their hands and waiting.
Yeah. Any other? So we are actually closing to the end of the session. So do we have any other thoughts from maybe organizers at this point to close? Any final thoughts on Metropolia side or others? Yeah.
Well, as the slide says, thank you, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be talking about the NEB and discussing, and very good questions and comments from the audience as well. And I think at least I am a little bit wiser after this morning on how does NEB relate to the built environment, and we had with the program sort of nice continuation from the big picture to the practical potential project funding opportunities, and then the practical example from in nature project and crowdsource Tampere University. So I think it was quite a nice line of thought. And also thank you RDS for your industry aspects. So thank you a lot for the speakers and everyone who was here. And let's continue talking together. Yes, thank you.
We have
Yes.
one more comment that came online that says, "Stop sitting on your hands."
Oh yeah, that's a good ending for the event. So there's a lot of opportunities around. Just go for them, and let's start building those new proposals and consortiums. Thank you so much for